Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today we're going to take a look at the 1981 United States nickel, and that's it right here in the center. You see the one on the left, and these are not great mint marks from 1981. This one is a P, and that's for the Philadelphia Mint. And this one is a D, and it's a fill D. It kind of fills in as it gets beaten up a little bit, and that's from the Denver Mint. With the Philadelphia Mint in 1981, they made $657 million. At the Denver Mint, they made $364 million. If you get this in an MS65, which is really good, Mint State 65, it's probably worth maybe $5, maybe $6. And you go, well, why is that? Mint State 65 is pretty good. Well, they think they have a bunch of them out there. If you look at their, you go to a site like PCGS, which grades coins, they think that there may be 50 to 60 million 65 or better out there right now. So it's not a very rare coin. What's the problem with it then? Well, the problem with it is that this is a coin that not only has to be in really good condition to be MS65, but in order to be worth a lot of money, has to have the full steps on the back. Now, some of you have seen this already just by looking while I was talking, and this is one of those coins where it just goes off the edge a little bit. And because it went off the edge a little bit, it kind of wore these down. Now, is that worth anything? Well, and you know that, notice over here we have a doubled edge. Right there, see that doubling on the edge? So what happened is the whole top of this was put on a little odd. And so that's kind of cool, and I'll keep it, and I'll keep it out, because it has this kind of offset front on it. Now, some people still think, and we've talked about this a lot, that the U.S. nickel is made of nickel. And it is of a little nickel. 1/4 of it is nickel, 75% of it is copper. So we have a copper-nickel blend on the outside, a copper core, and then a copper-nickel blend on the back. We tip it up on edge, we see it has a smooth edge. So, because this is offset and it kind of goes to the left, and we have extra space here, an extra rim, and we have no rim there. Is it worth any more? No. I will keep it. Maybe it's worth $1 or $2 to a collector to get one that's just a little off. What's it say on it? In God we trust here, liberty here. There's a star there, and it's not a dot like on some of the other coins. And then it says 1981, and then down here is the P. And then way, way down underneath, there's an F and an X, F and an S. And that's for Felix Schlag, FS. And that one's, these are kind of beaten ones, but there's an F and an S. And he was the engraver of these coins. These coins first came out in 1932 on the 200th birthday of George Washington. On the back, we look at the top, it says E Pluribus Unum. Down here at the bottom, it says United States of America. It has a building in the center, and that's Monticello. And that's Thomas Jefferson's home in Virginia. And then down here at the bottom, it says 5 cents, and that's its cents with an S. And then if we magnify it way, way up, we see this kind of buffer here, this bumper on here. And that's where you look for the stairs, if there were any stairs on this. So that's the Philadelphia version. This is the Denver version. It's the Phil D. You can see that it wasn't struck quite right, but it's not really worth any more money, even though it's kind of a fun coin. We look on the back of this, and there's no steps here either. Something interesting that we can see is it kind of goes through, and you can see a little bit of the copper underneath this coating. These coins, they made quite a few of them, and so if they made 657 million of the Philly and 384, they made one plus billion of them. So when you make a billion of anything, you're going to have some. Well, for one thing, in order to make a billion of these, they had to kind of rush it. And for another thing, when you make a billion of anything, you're going to have some errors. People say, well, what does it look like when you have a newer coin? Well, this isn't actually newer, but it's, what would we say? It's less used, because this is an uncirculated mint set version. In 1981, they produced uncirculated mint sets, and these two here are from that uncirculated mint set. So you can see the P is slightly better because it hasn't been beaten down. The FS is way better. We can really see Felix Schlag. And the D is, again, slightly better. Still not the greatest D in the world, but again, when you make a billion, between the two of these, you're going to get some offsets. Now, what's the back of these ones look like? Well, this is a brand new coin that's from an uncirculated mint set, which means it's never been circulated, and you still can't get the full steps. So when PCGS says that they have they've confirmed a $6,000 sale on the Philadelphia version, the P version of this coin with full steps, this is not it. What would this one be worth? It's probably worth $1 or $2 just because it's uncirculated, but that's really from someone who wants it. And if we look at the crenellations and the stuff up here, this is a really nice coin. Has a lot of definition. Has definition over here. You can actually see that there are steps on the side on that side. Not so defined there. And then across the top, you can see some good definition in the doorway. Let's look at the back of the other one, and let's see. Oh, this is the Denver Mint one. And on the Denver Mint one, this is, again, never been circulated. We still can't see very many steps. We can maybe see 2 full steps, not even that. And over here we can't see, yeah, we can see a little bit of indentation. And over here we see nothing. So this is what happens if you get an uncirculated one. So they just weren't pressed well. Well, they say, what if I look at a San Francisco mint? What if we look at a proof set instead of an uncirculated mint set? Well, we know one of the first things we see on this is really shiny in the back, and then they polish it's almost like a satin finish. They polish Jefferson different than they polish the rest of the coin. There is the S there. There are 2 kinds of S's in 1981. There's the Type 1S and the Type 2S, the so-called flattened S. And that's what this is here. If you look at it just right, it almost looks like a dollar sign because of the way the lines go through the middle. So this is the so-called flattened S, so Type 2S. The Type 1S in this condition is worth about $2. The Type 2S, even though this is from a proof set, the Type 2S is worth about $2.50. So $2 to $2.50 for these. Now, it's a proof coin, so of course we're going to have the steps on it, aren't we? Well, we do have some steps on there. Now, full steps often isn't applied it's applied to the grading, but you don't get a whole lot of money from these. But we see even in this one, it is kind of soft, the steps are, but it's close enough to full steps. And then over here, we don't see anything at all. And on this side, again, we don't see anything. So how many did they make of the San Francisco Mint? They made 4 million of these. So there's 4 million of these. There's 1 billion of the others. Not a whole lot of money in the 1981 nickel, but these are some really nice looking nickels. And this is the difference between an uncirculated nickel and right here, and a circulated one right here. Have a great day from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel. Leave any comments you have in the comments section.